Steve Haase.
Thank you very much. Fellow Help Spotters, Toastmasters, Toastmaster. Boston is awesome. I love it here. I'm planning on this being my home for quite a bit longer. And it's not as great as it could be. There are huge portions of Boston's political and cultural scene that impair innovation and encourage brain drain. Today I'm going to talk to you about why that's the case and what you can do about it. Now you might be saying, Steve, impairs innovation? Look around you, man. 7 years ago we were at the Cambridge Innovation Center and there were just Brian and Dharmesh looking at each other, had visions in their eyes of where we can go, and here we are, 500 people later, all this cool software and customers and changing the world. How can you say it impairs innovation? Well, I didn't say it's against business. Boston is a very pro-business area. I'm saying that the cultural landscape needs help. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'd like to illustrate that with a story. This is a new friend of mine. His name is Derek Chung. He is an entrepreneur. He grew up in the Boston area, and he went to Emerson University and was actually a winner of their entrepreneurship contest. He was given $5,000 to go start his business, which was a clothing truck called the Green Street Fall. And he was very successful with it. Now the problem is that there are no laws for what to do with clothing trucks. There are laws for what to do with food trucks and with clothing vendors, but not a clothing truck. In fact, the laws haven't been updated since 1908. The street peddlers kind of look like that. So what did Boston do? Did they let him go do his thing because he's a bright young mind going after his vision? No, they shut him down. He's not doing his thing. He's working for someone else's company, doing a great job there, but he's not pursuing his dream. I recently went to a talk by another entrepreneur, Jay Gordon, the founder of Bodega. There he is at his bodega. And when you go in the front, it's a bodega, but when you go in the back, it's a very hip retail clothing shop. He is one of the most brilliant people I've had the chance to listen to. And when asked what he thinks about Boston, he said, it's great to start something because you can make a big difference. It's small enough that you can really have an impact and get to know all the players, but it's very conservative. He said, if you went to Seoul, you could rock a yellow outfit. But in Boston, not so much. We all know what it's like to be out at the bar, having a good time with your friends. 1 o'clock hits, you look at your watch, the tea has just turned into a pumpkin. What are you going to do? It's the earliest closing time of any public transportation system in the country, possibly even in the world, for a major city. So you take a cab home and you pay 10 times what you'd pay for the train. And you might even have a problem finding a cab. Why? Because if you're a cab from Newton, you can't pick anyone up in Boston. So you drop somebody off and you got to go back to Newton. You can't pick anybody up. If you do, you get hit with a $500 fine that they do enforce. Let's also take restaurants, for example. Can you do a 24-hour restaurant? What if it's the middle of the night and you're looking for a bite to eat? Close to the South Street Diner. That's pretty much your only option. 24-hour gyms? None. There's a regulation against that as well. What if you're trading currency on the Asian market, you work the opposite hours, go somewhere else to do that. Here's an interesting fact for you. Have you noticed that there isn't a whole lot of development and interesting things in the restaurant scene? This is part of the reason why. There's a cap on the number of liquor licenses available, and that's the number of the cap. What that means is that a new liquor license can cost you up to $400,000 for a full license. Are you going to take a risk if it costs $400,000 just to serve booze, where you need that license to have the margin, you need that license to have the ambiance, the space for people to enjoy coming back over and over? Discourages innovation. So the results, posted here in an article from the Boston Globe, that 50% of college students leave after graduation. You can say, well, people leave after graduation from any city, and none of these things that you mentioned actually say you're not welcome here, innovation isn't welcome. But when you add it up, it does paint a picture, does it not? It makes you say, the new isn't really welcome. We If you want to have something really exciting, go somewhere else. So that's the what is wrong. Now, let's talk about the what can we do about it. For a little inspiration, look to this fellow. Anybody know who this is? It's George Eastman, founder of Eastman Kodak, one of the wealthiest men of his time and one of the largest philanthropists of his time as well. He knew that if he was going to have a great company in Rochester, New York, which is where he founded Eastman Kodak, he needed to have Rochester be a great place for all of his great employees. Rochester, if you've ever been there, is not naturally a great place. So he had some work cut out for him, and he invested heavily in his area. He created my alma mater, the Eastman School of Music, as well as many other fine institutions that brought people from all around the world and really put Rochester on the map in a way that it simply would not be otherwise. So let's take a page from George's book. I have 3 ideas on what we can do to make Boston awesome. The first is pay attention to your local regulations. Something that might seem trivial or not all that important might be the thing that stifles innovation for that next person and causes them to go move to some other city that's more exciting. Number 2, do something awesome yourself. A couple weeks back, Ellie went to a dance party in the middle of the day. There's networking events out the wazoo, but there's room for so many niches to be filled. My own endeavors with the Loft Sessions is just one example. We actually got some link love from Boss Inno as one of the picks of the week for this weekend, so we're pretty stoked about that. Number 3, get political. The mayor has been in office since 1993, and while he is certainly not governing with insouciance, he is a large part of why Boston is so conservative. So go vote in the November election for someone that you may see as being more progressive. Thank you very much.